What we do at the Media Post Summits is share best practices and share good ideas. And when I talked to Ryan Murrin, who's VP of Marketing and Franchise Development at Pancheros Mexican Grill, he had a great program that he put in, virtualizing his promotion. As you know, virtualizing all those physical promotions like couponing, like on-site special occasions and events. These are the promotions that drive loyalty. But are there digital equivalents? And this is one of the programs that Ryan came up with. As I said, he oversees all aspects of marketing and CRM for Pancheros. He spent a number of years at Chipotle before coming to Pancheros, and he's going to walk us through his program. But be ready with your questions. Ryan, welcome.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Turn it over to you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right. So again, thanks for having me. I'm Ryan Murrin. As Steve mentioned, I'm VP of Marketing and Franchise Development for Poncheros. And I oversee all of our marketing, our digital sales channels, franchise development. And I wanted to talk to you about a specific promotion that we'd had in kind of our repertoire for years and years and years that we had to quickly shift. So before I start, some of you may be asking, what is a Pancheros? It's a burrito joint. Started at the University of Iowa. We're almost 70 units in 12 states. And there are two things that really set us apart from the category. The first is we make every single tortilla right as you order it. So we make fresh dough every day. We let it proof, then press and finish it before we add any ingredients. And it really makes for a tremendous, fresh, pliable tortilla that seals on itself when you roll it. And it stays together so well, in fact, that when you eat at our restaurant, we serve it on a plate without any kind of foil or paper to keep it together because it keeps together on its own. And then the other thing that sets us apart is this mixing that we do. So we mix the burrito together before we roll it. So you get that perfect bite every time of cheese and sour cream and black beans. And so once people get accustomed to that, customers in the know to ask the crew to bob their burrito. That's the term that they use. So just as I see that there's lots of gallows humor about 2020, I'll throw in as well and get you a little catch up on how we arrived at changing this promotion. So as many of you probably experienced, end of 2019 was great. We were, it was one of our best years. Spirits were really high. We cruised into January and February. Presented our marketing plan in early January to all of our franchisees, and we were off and running. And then March hit. So March obviously took everyone by surprise, and we spent all of March through June, really, we threw away our marketing plan and started over. And we wrote a new one and rewrote it all through June. All the while bumping back some planned restaurant openings, really monitoring the situation to figure out when was the right time to open these restaurants. And so July came, and after pushing back those openings, we decided this was our moment. And so with a mix of apprehension and excitement and a little bit of terror, we pivoted again and built out a new restaurant opening plan for the restaurants that were opening. So, but first we had some expectations that we needed to manage. What our franchisees were used to were big crowds and lots of interest. And that was really not what we could or should deliver during COVID. In normal times, our opening plans are a holistic plan for 6 months that seed the market with PR and buzz, and we promote the opening a lot. And then the week after we open, we do our signature promotion, which is $1 burrito. And so admittedly, a $1 burrito promotion sounds pretty easy to get a lot of people to, but we really make it an event. The marketing team staffs every opening. We're talking to everyone in line. We're doing crowd control. We hand out swag. Our marketing team produces new kind of topical t-shirts and swag. We've produced fanny packs before because fanny packs were hot. And it's really a chance to talk to the crowd, the community. Our ops team is there to orchestrate what's the busiest day that our week-old crew has ever seen. And our fans really get into it. Once they know in a market where we've had restaurants before and we've done Dollar Burrito, people know this is a big event. And so they bring their entire family. You know, we've seen entire volleyball and football teams from the local high school come together. We're handing out swag, and it's a great event to get to know the community around you. And in the end, we create an event that, you know, has 300 to 500 people attend. There's lots of cars driving past. So we make this a spectacle. And, you know, this particular burrito event, we had the line wrapped all the way around the restaurant, and actually ended up after 2 hours, cutting off the line and working everyone through that line so that they made sure that they got their dollar burrito. So, you know, again, in normal times, we put a lot into this event, from staffing to marketing. And the structure of it is that it is a week after opening. It's $1 burrito per person in line. We usually get between 300 and 500 people through in 2 hours. And we throw a lot at it with marketing. So we're doing local PR outreach, both to consumer press and to business press, promoting you know, the new franchisee ownership, promoting that there's a new location. We're reaching out and creating partnerships with you know, local community organizations and doing fundraisers and asking them to promote to their fans that we're doing this dollar burrito. Where we've got restaurants in the market, we're also doing a lot of loyalty communication. So we're touting that there's a new restaurant coming to the market. And then we start to mine some of our loyalty members to find those VIPs in that market and invite them to come to the front of the line. So again, there's lots of coordination to it. You know, the outcome is there's lots of trial. The side benefit in the past has been that we maybe get 75 to 100 loyalty signups. And we get a lot of PR value, but ultimately it's a costly event. You know, it can cost franchisees between food cost and labor and marketing quite a bit, but it's always been seen as a marketing cost. So obviously, as we approached opening this restaurant, there was a lot of apprehension about what we were going to do to really propel that restaurant in the second week that we've done for other restaurants. And so, you know, there's concern about doing dollar burrito in the same way that we've done it with COVID, and alternatively not doing dollar burrito because of COVID. We wanted to make sure that there was still some excitement around the opening. So our challenge was still do everything we've done in the past without intentionally creating a crowd. So what we did is we moved the dollar burrito promotion to our app. And again, we had serious hesitations about this. We're making brand new customers to that location or even to the brand jump through 2 additional hoops. They had to download the app by the launch of Dollar Burrito, and they had to enter a promo code in the app to get the offer. The other thing that we did, because this is the first time that we had ever contemplated moving this promotion to the app, was we extended out the redemption period. So normally it's $1 or a 2-hour period on a single day. We extended it out to 2 weeks. And, you know, all of that said, we kept the same basic structure the same. We promoted the event a week prior. We used all of the resources that we had, from loyalty to PR, minus the crowd perks and the swag and the conversations. And, you know, collectively, we had some great franchisees that said, yeah, we're gonna do this and put our best foot forward. But we were all nervous about shifting this promotion from something that we've known for years and years to something so different. So we launched it, and what we saw was really astounding and pleasantly surprising. So, in normal times, we might get 500 people through the line. In this promotion, we got almost 5 times that amount. In normal times, we typically lose money on dollar burrito. Here we had gross sales of 26,000 for one restaurant over 2 weeks, with net sales of a little over 11,000. And we evened out redemption. So, in old pre-COVID times, we had one day where it was a blockbuster event and it was a tough day for the crew. And we smoothed out all that redemption, which meant the crew had several very busy days, but not one incredibly busy day. But the real big payoff came in our loyalty acquisition and the impact it had starting from the opening day. So again, in normal times, if we're lucky, we might have got 75 to 100 people signed up in line for the dollar burrito event on that day. Because we started this early and we made it an app-based event, we got 3,000 signups within a week. And that's a really significant number. It gave that restaurant a base of loyalty users that some established restaurants that we've got didn't even have after, maybe even a couple years. And then because we know our customer lifetime value of our loyalty customer, it's $185. Our estimate was that we, in week 2, added more than $500,000 in future customer value for just this one restaurant. And then lastly, ultimately this all comes down to sales. And fortunately, we had 2 openings in the same market the year before in rapid succession. So we had kind of an unintentional A/B test. And what we found was by starting this promotion online and doing it the way we did, we opened double what we did in week 1 for the first restaurant from last year, and then 50% higher than the second restaurant. And then after 6 weeks, we were still 26 and 10% above the other 2 restaurants that had opened. So, the ultimate lesson for us with this promotion is flexibility. I think that's the theme that we're hearing from a lot of other restaurant marketers here. So we had to be flexible, but if you give customers a solid incentive and more freedom in how they choose to interact with you, they'll definitely reward you. So that's my time. I'll stop sharing my screen and maybe pause for questions.
Yeah, we do. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ryan. That was really cool. So one question is as you move back to a physical environment, then you've got a digital promotion that way overperformed and outperformed physical. So then that raises the question: does the physical promotion actually detract from the digital, and how are you thinking about that going forward?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think we'll eventually end up blending the 2 approaches. I think the physical in-person event, it still holds some value, but you cannot argue with the results of what we saw here and the way that it propelled that restaurant. It will be how we contemplate that promotion in the future.
Now, how does using the app and leading with the app, which typically is from already going to your most loyal customers, how does that limit the approach, and how does that apply to acquiring customers?
Yeah, it's also a good question. I think this was a more mature market. I think as we enter less mature markets or new markets, there may be kind of a step approach where we do kind of an old style approach where we don't have so many hurdles to get through, and people can experience it using, what we've done in Dollar Burrito, and then start to merge into making it app-based. We were fortunate in this market that we had a handful of restaurants already. They're really, really well run, so the experience was great. And so people were a little more familiar with the app and using it, I think, in that market.
Were there any special things that you needed to do with your franchisees that you were working with that took special effort on their part that you had to get across to them?
Not a ton. I think the biggest challenge for them obviously was just projections. I mean, we had, the way that we had structured it in the past was it was so predictable. Mm-hmm. It's 2 hours. There's a certain amount of people you can get through in 2 hours, just if you're going as fast as you can. Mm-hmm. This was essentially a 2-week event. And so we were checking in every day with our franchisees to see what the redemption was, how they were doing, how they were pacing. We did some projections based on other promotions that we've done. And oddly, what our kind of redemption curve of first 7 days and or first 3 or 4 days and last 3 or 4 days, it did match a lot of other promotions that we've done.
Did you do any optimization of this along the way? Were there levers that you pulled along the way to improve performance, or places where you learned you could improve performance?
With this, the short answer is no, because we had a week to kind of run up to promoting it and get people acquired. Then we deliver the coupon, and then they've got 2 weeks to use it. I think our optimizations will come maybe in promoting this earlier than we had started with this in future Dollar Burrito promotions.
Ryan Murrin, that was very cool. I hope when we come back live, we'll be able to bring you in so you can report on whether this was a repeatable event over time, and then how you adapted this when we moved back into a more physical environment. Definitely. Ryan Murrin, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.